I first got interested in really collecting probably around 1994. I had always had 2 or 3 nativities, but it was after my son died at the holidays and my husband did, about a year apart. And then that gave me some meaning to Christmas, I guess is why I got involved with the nativities and the true meaning of Christmas. The first creche I owned was probably back when I was in high school. And that one was one made in Italy, and at the time you used to buy the pieces at Fishman's or Woolworth's in bins, and they were like 29 cents a piece. And that's the first set I ever had. As a child, I remember my folks having, I believe, only one nativity set, but we put it up probably about 3 or 4 weeks before Christmas, and we would a lot of times put not all the pieces at once. We'd gradually put the pieces in, so every day I was able to put an animal in, or the ones as the time came, and we always put the baby in last, and probably Mary and Joseph just before the baby. We would be able to move the pieces around if we wanted to change their position. I had a brother, but he wasn't into that, so I was really the only one that did anything with the nativity. I have probably 1,400 creches, more than 1,400, because I haven't been counting the new ones in the last couple years. I used to buy a lot of them. I try not to go into the stores and look at them even, because I'll probably end up buying one, but I have friends that go to yard sales, friends that travel. They bring them back to me, and they go places. And then I have complete strangers give me collections. They'll call me up because they've seen it in the paper and want to know if I'd like their collection. My oldest creche is from the early 1930s. A lady I used to take communion to and visit her. She was 99 and she had to go into a rest home, and she wanted to know if I'd like her set, even though it wasn't in very good shape. So that has a lot of meaning. That's the only one I put the baby in only on Christmas Eve, because I couldn't do it with my others, but that's the way she did hers, so to honor her, I do it that way. That's what Christmas really is all about. The presents are nice, the kids opening them are great, and all the other things that go with Christmas, but the true meaning for me is the birth of Jesus. And when people come to see the nativities, there is an emotional side of it. I do have a lot of people that come that don't come necessarily for the religious part of it. They come to an art showing where I have so many different kinds of nativities, and they just get a really joy out of seeing the art, the people that put into the work of doing the nativities. And people will tell me about how they did Christmas when they were younger, and about a certain set would remind them, oh, that one's just about like the one I had as a child. And most of them stay at least an hour, and some stay as long as 2.5 hours. I have a lot of small children come, and from St. Michael's, the last 3 years, they had the kindergarten through 1st grade, and they got so much out of it. And the kids from all the grades come, and they are so excited. They really take it all in, and then they like me to take their picture holding one. When they send me little notes back, they'll say that, oh, we really like that one upstairs on the sand, because my Fontanini is on sand. My Fontanini collection, which is made in Italy, and right now I have almost 200 pieces to that one set. It's all the village people and the animals and the creche, and the Fontanini set's made out of polymer. And it's really supposedly unbreakable, which I consider unbreakable. They don't say it is, but I noticed one new piece I got this year was a donkey, and I didn't know the ear was off it, but it ended up with being missing an ear, and I don't think the kids did it. I think it came that way, and I just never noticed it. Every year I add to the collection. Some years a lot, other years just a couple pieces. They have the kids out fishing, and it's just unbelievable, that whole set. I have story cards on a lot of the Fontanini pieces. Each one comes with a story card, and that tells about that particular person. And sometimes the kids will ask me about that person, and I have all those cards in a book, and I will take the time to take out a card and read what that person, all the people in that set have a name, and then they tell what they did at the time of Jesus' birth. All kinds of buildings go with the set, but I don't have an awful lot of the buildings because they're very expensive. One year I did get 2 or 3 buildings. I won $250 at a raffle, and I thought, this is spare money, so I'm going to splurge. There's 4 Fontanini great-grandsons that run the business, and they did at the time when I first started getting the pieces. Now there's only 2 great-grandsons that run it, but back when I first started collecting, they came over to the New England states from Italy, and they would sign pieces, and you buy them in the stores they were in. So I've got probably 40 of my pieces signed by them, and I met 3 of the great-grandsons. They came to Wallingford, Connecticut, and 2 places in Massachusetts. I have people all ages come, anywhere from a 2-year-old up to probably a 98-year-old. And they just all enjoy them. That's what makes it worthwhile for me to do this, is because of the joy that they all get from coming to see them. I still add to my collection every year. I may get as many as 20 new ones because I get some for Christmas presents. Back in earlier years, I used to get a lot more than that. Someday I probably will decide it's time not to do it anymore, but if somebody has a collection, I think they should share it. And I have as many as 300 people a year that come to see them. I've probably got 55 different countries from all over the world. Some of them were brought back by friends who traveled, and I brought back some when I had traveled at one time. My wildest nativity that I have probably is the animals, and I have all kinds of different animals like bears, moose, chicken and rooster, mixed animal one, cats, dogs. And when I first got the animal one, I thought, is this the right thing to do? Then they had little cards with them, and they said on the card, the animals are getting all excited. They're getting ready to put on a pageant. And so then I decided it was okay to have the animal ones. And this year I decided to do all my different animal ones together on one set of shelves in the sunroom, and I really liked the looks of that. It really made it look more realistic, and I had a sign saying they were putting on a pageant, the animals. One of the creches most recently that I got is one that has just Joseph, Mary, and the baby, and I got it over in Keene, New Hampshire, and it was a store going out of business, so I got it for $7, but it was a $60 one, and Joseph's holding the baby in that. It's very unusual. I have nativities made out of, well, polymer, clay, plastic, wood, tin, sheep's wool, beeswax. I have probably about 30 different materials that they're made out of, at least. And then I have a memory section for my husband, who always thought I had way too many Christmas decorations, even before the nativities, but he always cut our Christmas tree, and our trees were horrid trees. You put an ornament on it and the branch would fall down. And so they came out with a Charlie Brown tree. So I have my husband's picture in front of the Charlie Brown tree with a note saying Maynard's tree. So that's my little memory sections. Every year I've been trying to think of how to put them the best. I do try to put a lot of the foreign countries together, but I'm hoping this next year that I have a little better plan for them and really have them all kind of sectioned off. And I usually have signs on them. This year I didn't quite get all my signs on them, but I do pretty much know where they all came from. I have a lot of people that come and do bring me a nativity as they come, and some of them have been nativities from their family, and one particular one that lived in Guilford called me and said his aunt just died and he didn't have room for it, and it's a really beautiful nativity set. So I never refuse them. One of these days I may have to, but so far I haven't. I have a lot of new people, but I have the same people coming for probably at least 10 years of when I've been doing it, and I've been doing it since '97 is the first year I started opening it to the public. And a lot of those have been almost every year.